Hi, I'm Aaron Sharp,
Hi, I'm Micah Sharp.
and we're going to talk about Wingfeather Saga Book 2.
North or be eaten.
Now, this is your last warning. There will be spoilers as we talk about things today, because we're just going to talk about what happens in the book. So, Micah, the book begins, and they're in Pete's castle. Would you like a treehouse like Pete someday?
Yes.
Okay. What is it about Pete's castle that you liked?
I like climbing the trees, and I like that it has like a secret rope ladder. And I also like that it's more than one. It's like a bunch of tree houses and bridges connecting to.
So it's like a whole treehouse complex that you like.
Pete's castle is more of like a whole treehouse neighborhood to himself.
Gotcha. With your siblings, you'd like a neighborhood to yourself? Is that what you're telling me? Okay. So we find out also at the beginning that Oscar is alive. And I thought he was dead at the end of book 1. What did you think?
I wasn't sure because it didn't tell, but I thought how these books work that he'd end up being alive.
Which brings us, though, to the next thing is that they have to flee, and they're leaving Pete's castle in a hurry, and they're being chased by fangs, and we have to say goodbye to Nugget. That was sad. It was sad. So, did you think Nugget was really dead, or did you think he was somehow going to stay alive?
In these stories, almost all of the time, someone will be dying, and someone or something will help it.
Mm-hmm.
And by Nugget, I wasn't sure. And then when I found out Nugget was alive, I was really surprised. So I thought Nugget was dead. But I didn't think Oscar was dead.
Okay. This is the second time we thought Nugget was dead. And I'm not through with book 4 yet, but it does appear that Nugget was definitely dead. If he's not, don't tell me, okay?
Okay.
Now, after that, we end up meeting the Stranders, and they play a big part going forward. What did you think about the Stranders?
They're okay. I think how they act is more what you'd be a wild animal. Only to me they feel like a jungle man, only a lot more human. I just think they're very wild.
They are very well. Is that what it feels like for you growing up in our house with 3 siblings? Okay, fair enough. Now, after the Stranders, they make it to Dugtown, and they're basically hiding out below basements. And then Janner and Tink get separated from everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So then, the next thing we know, Janner and Tink get separated from each other. And we've talked about before that this book was a lot more tense.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel like the tension was while all that's going on?
When Janner and Tink got separated, when I found out what Tink did, I thought it was pretty pretty bad choice.
This wasn't Tink's best book. The making choices, he wasn't at his best, was he?
Yes.
No, he wasn't doing so well. So they get separated, and now Janner's trying to save the day, and then Janner ends up in the black carriage. And where does he get taken?
No, Janner doesn't. Tink does.
Tink winds up in the black carriage, but Janner winds up. He gets captured, but he doesn't wind up in the black carriage?
No.
When he gets taken to the fork factory? Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. Who knows? But Janner winds up.
Because we read the book.
Hold on a minute, let's check. But Janner winds up in the fork factory. Tell us about that and what you thought about it.
I thought his first plan was pretty. I thought he was very desperate. Then when he found out that he needed to slow down, he did a very good plan.
So they punish people in the fork factory by putting them in a coffin and leaving them in there for a few days. Do you have any thoughts on if we should implement that in the Sharp House? Like, should we do that?
0%.
Okay, fine. So he escapes because we all knew he was going to escape the fork factory.
Yes.
And that plays a big role later in some books about the fork factory and things that went on there. Then Janner makes his way north and catches up with the rest of his family. And while that's going on, Pete, who's kind of been off on the side a little bit, things are happening with Pete and Tink, or Kalmar, if you will.
Yeah, at the Stranders, he changes his name to Kalmar.
Yes. So, talk about Pete's transformation. What did you think about that?
I thought it was pretty creative.
He was very creative. He's very powerful after his transformation. And then, this is where the spoilers come in, Tink undergoes a transformation to become almost a Fang. Is that how
He does become a Fang, but since he was a little boy and they kept pushing him and at the end of the book where he becomes a Fang, when he wakes up and he growls and he doesn't know his name, and then they tell him his name, and then he just acts really wild. He puts a lot of cuts on Janner, and then when they finally strap him on his bed beside Janner, they keep pushing him until one morning Nia, their mother, asks him what his name is, and he says, Calmer, King of Anarena, and he opens his eyes and his eyes are blue.
And all that's taking place on the boat after Pete has rescued him and brought him to everybody else. And the boat is a big deal because we've got Grandpa Poto on the boat, and Grandpa doesn't want to be on the boat, and then we find out why, because
he killed a dragon. He killed a dragon young.
Yes, and the dragons have sworn basically vengeance on Poto. What are you doing with the books? What are you doing? You're just like your mother. The dragons have basically told Poto, if you come in the dark sea of darkness again, you're a dead man. And so Lily plays a big role in stopping that, and with her playing her music. Do you want a whistle harp? Would you like a whistle harp at some point? I know you like the harmonica.
Well, the harmonica's okay, but a whistle harp, no.
You don't want a whistle harp?
No, and I think isn't a made up instrument?
Well, I don't know. There's a picture in here, maybe a made up thing even in the picture, but there's a whistle harp in here somewhere at the end. Yeah, see right there? Whistle harp. See? I don't know. Is that made up? We don't know. We should probably do more research before we talk. But that's the whistle harp that Lily plays. And Lily really starts to come into her own now, and book 3 revolves a lot around Lily. So, any final thoughts you have on North or Be Eaten? This, of the first 3, because I'm not through with 4, this is my favorite of the first 3.
Yes, this is my favorite of the first 3, but is not my favorite book.
And that's number 4, which I'm not through with yet. I'm about 60% done. Okay, we give this a thumbs up. How many stars out of 5?
4.5.
4.5. I go 4 3/4 because I liked it that much. All right. Well, thanks for sitting with us to talk about Wingfeather Saga. Bye-bye.